Hello and welcome to the Away Day Experience show here on Back of the Net. My name's Sam Davis.
My name's Tom Jordan.
And this is the show where we review every single away day in the Premier League because we go to every single game. But it's not about the football, Tom. Never about the football.
No, we leave that bias of the football and what's on the pitch at the door because this is all about what happens around the football, mate, on your away day, the whole experience itself. So fortunately, in this one, we don't have to talk about the football.
So, we've had 6 away days, 5 of which we've covered. The latest one, though, we've yet to do. So, this show is covering the away day experience at
West Ham.
West Ham United, the London Stadium. Look, we've had many games in the Premier League against them. Our first one was at their previous home, which, I'm going to say it now, I think it was better. Upton Park was better, but look, London Stadium could be all right. In this show, you'll find out, and you'll find out by the way of a tier list. This is our tier list so far. There you can see the 5 clubs that we've rated, and we've got a number of different categories there. Tom, what are these all about? Go on.
Well, from bottom to top, we start with what a waste of petrol, which obviously means it was horrific, and I'd rather have not been there, to be honest. What above that is Mayor not the best, so probably less than you expected, a little bit disappointed. In the middle, where we currently have Man City, is can't complain. It was a good away day, happy with it. Just above that, decent day where we got 3 in there. Liverpool, Nottingham Forest and Fulham. So above expectations, really enjoyed it. And at the top, if you're lucky enough to be up there with Newcastle, banging visit, everything you want from an away day. So nice little variation there.
So what criteria are you going by to rate these? Is it just on the drinking culture?
Never.
Is it about the halftime refreshments? We've got to cover a number of points, surely.
Yeah, so we mix it up, we go into different categories. So we start with the pre-match experience, kind of how it is getting there and all the things before the game. Yeah. Then we go into Concourse and Refreshments, what's it like underneath at half-time, before and after the game, etc. Then the stadium and the view, what we think about that. Going on to the atmosphere itself, how loud is it, and do they get a good atmosphere in their home stadium? And then the people. We always try and talk to a number of the opposition. So what were the people like, how friendly were they, and all that good stuff. So nice, I think we cover a lot there, and then we can make our final decision.
And it's nothing to do with the football, it's nothing to do with referees, it's nothing to do with any of that stuff. But firstly then, we'll cover the pre-match experience, and as it's a London away day, I know for Fulham we drove up, but this time we took the train. And this is obviously out of the control of West Ham United, but trains were not running on time due to a signalling issue at Upway, which is to the west of Bournemouth, which meant our train was about 40 minutes late. There was one in front of us for ages, and we thought, why can't we just get on the go? But we couldn't. So stood there like lemons at Bournemouth station, but it is a lovely way to travel, isn't it? Especially when you get a table.
Yeah, we managed to get a table, to be fair, which was nice. But yeah, the delay, obviously nothing to do with West Ham, but as an away day in general, that was a disappointing start that we had that delay, which can always happen with trains at this day and age. And then we just went to the hole in the wall, didn't we, in Waterloo, because that's the problem. It's very difficult in London in general to kind of get in there with all your fans, and it was on a Monday night, so it made it difficult to know what to do. So yeah, just went in the hole in the wall, had a few, and then you've got to get another tube across that decided to terminate a stop early. So we had to get another one, and we managed to get there for kick-off.
And I nearly got concussion on the tube. I hit my head, but
wasn't ideal, mate.
It's interesting when you're booking train tickets. Right, I'll give you a rundown of what things cost. Okay, throughout this whole experience. So look, the train tickets was actually okay. Train was 11 quid. Which is good. So that's a train up there. We got a coach back. I'll give you full disclosure on the pricing when we cover that bit. But yeah, 11 quid, which is good. But when you've got this kind of price matrix when you book, there are some really expensive trains and there are some, okay, that's cheap. So that would have got us to Waterloo at about 10 to 5. But as it was, because we had delays, it was about R5. And there are few pubs in and around the London Stadium, so there are only a select number to go to, but they're not amazingly served by tubes. Therefore, we just thought, you know what, let's just go to the hole in the wall and then catch the Jubilee line to Stratford and then walk off to the stadium. So, yeah, I enjoyed that part. The walk was, what, a good 15 minutes or so?
Yeah.
And, in terms of pre-match, it was all right. Just quite a lot of travelling to do.
Yeah, it was all right. A little bit frustrating. Like I say, it's all out of West Ham's hands, all that kind of stuff, really. Just a few bits that were annoying, I guess. But it was horrific, and we did have a good laugh on the train.
And it was your birthday, mate. So what are you going out of 10 for the PreMatch Experience. I mean, there's plenty to do in London, we've got to say.
Of course.
Not just the pubs. However, from our perspective,
6. That's
6.
all right. Fair. Above average, isn't it?
It's above average. Right, okay, next we're going to go on to Concourse and Refreshments. And yeah, we got the tube to this stadium. And by the way, full disclosure, that was about £6. Of course, that's it's on the Oyster card or on your contactless. It's capped for the day. But when you get in the stadium, Concourse, very spacious actually.
Yeah,
very, very spacious.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I think when I went down, then you come down a few minutes later, and you have to go around the corner to find it. Wouldn't you? Like kind of looking around wherever it is because there was a lot of room to go off. So that was good. Definitely spacious. Refreshments.
Oh, okay. Right. So I said this on the vlog. You know, 20's plenty, that's what they were saying. And then they compromised at 30 for an away matchday ticket, which I thought, you know, good shout. When you get in there, you're hoping that prices too will be fairly reasonable. Not so. Right, 2 pints of lager, albeit Amstel, which is okay. Yep. 2 hot dogs. They did stick out either side of the bun, which is nice. And they were proper sausages, unlike your sort of roll over mush in your mouth sausages. Some onions on top. So 2 hot dogs, 2 pints. What are you thinking?
2 hot dogs, 2 pints. What should it be?
16, 17 quid?
Yeah, just shy of 20.
32 English pounds.
Amazing. Yeah, I had an Amstel, which was nearly £7. Was a hot dog about £9? Unbelievable. Again, I don't think it's West Ham. I'm not.
Well, that's right. And you know, at this point, it is worth saying that they have got nothing to do with the food prices. If West Ham could actually price the food that they sell, I'm sure they would be reasonable with it. But the LLDC, yeah, it was given to a separate company, and I mean they're charging through the roof for food prices. So if you're going to eat beforehand, because that was really expensive. Having said that, they had a decent array of culinary options, and yeah, in terms of the space, the concourse, accessing a toilet and stuff, 2,000 cherries went, loads of room, and it was all right. But those food prices, I can't get over. Sorry.
Yeah, that's what's difficult. So in my head, I'm thinking I'd probably give the concourse itself a 7, and then refreshments a -5. So I'm going to give it a 2. See what I can do. I'm going to give it a 2.
There you go, Tom goes for 2. Right, stadium and the view. So look, we all know the criticisms of the London Stadium. Football's fairly universal in its opinion of this particular ground, but we're going to try to be, would not be too harsh where we can. However, this is based on our experience, and I'm not being funny, it was not good at all.
No, I think what's harder as well is you know that everyone's experienced Upton Park. Probably most people that have gone to this stadium have experienced Upton Park, and we know how great that was. So that makes it harder. But the stadium, I mean, I suppose it's big, it's stuff like that. I don't like it personally. The view, you're quite far away. I don't like the design of it. I don't really like anything about it.
What's mad, right, is that the Etihad was a stadium designed for athletics for the Commonwealth Games in 2002?
Yeah.
And they reconfigured it really, really well, because they actually dug further into the ground, and they managed to get the stands in a kind of, you know, square rectangle formation around the pitch. But unfortunately, I don't know what it is, they've tried to reconfigure the seating arrangements at London Stadium. It doesn't work. It's still an oval. So certain parts are so far away from the pitch, it's unbelievable. There are some seats that are relatively close, but either way, where we were,
we were in the upper one.
We were in the upper tier. Of course, if you're in the lower, it's better. But there's this massive chasm, this empty space. I think it's where Paul McCartney sang at the Olympics. There's a big stage there, and it's, you know, quite good for that. And it is a multi-purpose venue, so maybe you know, they do manage to get their money's worth by having other sorts of events other than football. But you know, football is played there the most, and it was horrible, mate. It was soulless. We'll go on to atmosphere later, but I really didn't like it, mate. You know, bring your binoculars, bring your telescope. You know, I could reel out the cliches.
Just to see your mate in the lower. Do you know what I mean? It's so far away. It's unbelievable, and obviously that goes into atmosphere, which we'll discuss. But from an away point of view, it's very difficult because your fans are so far away from you. It's really weird design. I don't like it. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go for another 2. Another 2.
Yeah. 2. Tom goes for 2 for the stadium and the view. One thing we would just like to say though, as far as anyone in a wheelchair or power chair, they did have very good views and a lot of space. So thumbs up West Ham United for that, or the London Stadium at least anyway. Okay, on to atmosphere. Now, we've got to add the caveat that we're not comparing it against our own atmosphere every week. Sometimes Dean Court is rocking, and sometimes it's not. But when it isn't rocking, we will be honest and we'll say we weren't good enough. And media pundits as well would also say, oh, it wasn't quite as loud as it usually is. Step forward Danny Murphy from TalkSport, who said he went to the game on Monday night and said, in quotes, the atmosphere was rocking.
I had my first experience of West Ham on Monday night.
How did that go?
It was all right. It was rocking, actually. Yeah, they played well. The fans were good.
Yeah.
It was a deserved win, actually, and the stadium was nearly full. It was a good experience. As I say, it's one of the few I haven't been to.
What do you make of that atmosphere? So many of them still say, the West Ham fans now, it's nothing like Upton Park. Well, we know it's nothing like Upton Park.
I think they're starting to make memories there. I think the level of the performance creates the atmosphere, doesn't it? With the team they've got and the quality they've got now, the atmosphere was really good. So
yes,
I think as long as they keep playing to a decent level, there's no problem with that.
What was he at? He was not. There was no way he was there.
I want whatever he's drinking or whatever he's taking, because I'm sorry, that is not
PR
the case.
system done all right. They got the PR system going to make a bit of noise. It was terrible, absolutely terrible. And we've had, if you go back and watch some of the other ones, we've said quite openly that some of them would be disappointing. This was another level.
I've got to say that on the vlog I came across really bitter at times, like
Yeah, you
really
did.
bitter, and very sarcastic.
I've got nothing against West Ham. We're just doing our experience.
I
aren't we?
actually dreaded reading the comments about this because I knew that there would be some people that would bite, and rightly so. But that said, it was really poor. Now let's also caveat the fact that we were not particularly loud ourselves.
No, we weren't.
But I think the way that stadium is designed, with the 2 sets of away fans so far from each other, how on earth can we anyway?
No, it's impossible. Because by the time you hear them doing a chant, you start chanting, then they finish, and it's just a nightmare. West Ham, I don't know any of their chants. They didn't sing any. PR system done the bubbles.
Yeah, I mean, no amount of bubbles could make up for what was a poor atmosphere. I heard them at times. However, it was just a dull noise. It almost became white noise at times.
Yeah.
Like the crowd sounds that they put out during COVID time on Sky Sports. It was a bit like that.
Yeah.
And even on the TV, it didn't come across particularly well. And we've also got to mention the fact that, yes, it's Bournemouth. Sometimes it's hard to raise yourself against a team that's going to be, in fact, we were higher than them in the table at the time.
But no, I know what you mean. It's not a big club coming there and all that stuff. And I know we don't talk about what's on the pitch, but it was a rubbish game. So yeah, we put all that into consideration, of course. But I was really disappointed. Particularly, again, go back to, I remember being at Upton Park and they get it really going in there. And West Ham are real passionate fans that I've seen only last season in European games. They're really, really good in there. But I was so disappointed with it, mate. I'm literally, because some bubbles went across my face, I'm going to give it a 1 for the bubbles.
1 for the bubbles. And just to mention the loyalty thing, I mean, obviously we had our own issues with Scott Parker, but we would defend him to the hilt when other fans would come on and criticise him. I think that's what a number of West Ham fans do, although there are some that completely are in agreement, saying, look, it is nowhere near as good. So look, if you're still having that opinion, hopefully we've backed it up for you. But look, I'm sure it can be reconfigured. I think they're still looking to reconfigure it to make it better. So,
and I have been there, don't get me wrong, I've never had an amazing one there, but I have been there before to the stadium, and it wasn't that bad in terms of atmosphere. It definitely wasn't. So so I can almost go off previous as well and think this was a lot worse than I expected.
But the people are nice, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, you probably we got a few on the vlog that seemed nice.
Yeah, I spoke to Jason in the Hole in the Wall, and there were a number. Steve was chatting to a number of Hammers on the way back to Stratford, and we all had a bit of banter, but then we came together and they were talking about the handball incident that happened, and they were in agreement with the fact that...
No, it wasn't handball, apparently.
Oh, was it not?
No, not handball, no. Not handball.
No.
Not handball.
But on the whole, I find, like I said on the preview show, I think many of them are quite humble. They sort of know that they're a big club in waiting. I know that the season ticket numbers are ridiculous.
Yeah.
But they're still not quite there competing with your Arsenals, your Spurs, your Chelseas. I've just done that typical thing, your Gerrards, your Lampards.
Yeah.
I've just done it. And I think European football regularly will help them to get to that level. I don't think it's going to happen this season, but they are a huge club. But I think they are fairly down to earth as well, and geographically, I think that sort of lends itself to it because people from that side of London are genuinely down to earth and very grounded. I do like the West Ham fans. I do like them.
Yeah, I think with this category, what's difficult is you've got 50,000 people, and you're going off the handful that you've. What I will say is the only disappointing thing from my perspective was we haven't had this at any of the others. After the game, there were a lot of young teenagers. Kind of. I remember we were walking back with a dad with his kids, and they had to walk in another direction. And we thought they were going a different way, and we realised, no, I just need to get the kids away from it. Because there were just a few, they were probably teenagers, just being a bit abusive and stuff to us walking past, which was a bit odd. You just beat Bournemouth 2-0, calm down kind of thing. But that's, like you say, you're going to get it in most games. It's just a shame that we kind of walked into that. I thought that was a bit. So I spoke to a few and they were fine. But it's a difficult one. I think always with London when we go into this section, when we've gone up north a little bit, you kind of go there for a bit longer maybe and get to chat to them a bit more. But as you say, we've had some decent people on the vlog, and I know a few West Ham fans, and they're all nice as pie, mate. I'm just going to go bang in the middle. I'm going to go 5. I'm just going to go average. They were fine.
Okay, brilliant stuff. So after the game finished, we got the megabus back. It was £5.50 to get back,
and that was too expensive. Oh my God! We went round. What did we do? We went round Heathrow for at least 3 times. Driver didn't know what he was doing.
He was doing a 3-point turnaround on mini roundabout.
Yeah, nearly crashed as well.
Nearly crashed. Ended up having to go through Ringwood because part of the dual carriageway, which was obviously not his fault, but he toyed with going down the Avon Causeway in his massive coach, but then thought, you know what, screw this, I'm going to go drive on to Christchurch and then we'll go down Barrack Road. It was all a bit
due to getting at
horrible.
2 and we got in about 3:30, didn't we?
Yeah, so that, in terms of the transport costs and stuff, that that was all right. But as a day, obviously it was your birthday, mate.
Yeah.
And as birthdays go, birthdays are always amazing, mate. So we've got the tier list in front of us now, and I'm expecting this to be a banging visit because it was your birthday. But I've got a feeling that some of the things that we've said, maybe don't lead you to that conclusion.
I didn't expect this. I've said in previous ones on the review shows of the away days that I'm really not expected, and I'm hopeful that none will be put into this category.
Go on.
And ironically, we didn't actually use any, but it was what a waste of petrol. It's in the bottom for me. It's one of the worst away days I've ever had. Happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday.
One for you, mate, and the company, and seeing some lovely people, having a few drinks and having a laugh. Apart from that, mate, and I'm even taking the game aside from it, which was horrific. None of it was that good. And listen, as I said before, I've been to West Ham before, been to Upton Park, been to the London Stadium, and it never would have gone in this category if we'd done this previously. We're going off our experience. Not all of it, as we've said, is West Ham's fault in terms of the prices and things like that. But trains and stuff. But I've just got to be honest, mate. If I have a worse away day than that this year, I will be worried.
Okay, here's a hypothetical question. The Premier League make it mandatory for you to miss one away game for whatever reason. Which one would that be?
West Ham.
If there's a match that has to be played back.
West Ham. Absolutely West Ham.
Not Newcastle because no, that's a good one.
West Ham.
Leeds.
West Ham.
If Burnley win the Premier
West Ham. That's got a nice little cricket club at Burnley. I just don't like it. I hate it as an away game. Upton Park was probably one of my favourites. And I'm sure a lot of West Ham fans agree. But
we're so sorry.
Yeah, I don't dislike West Ham. Love Declan Rice. Love loads of stuff about West Ham. But from this away day show and what we experienced, it was absolute toilet.
All right. Well, look, stay tuned if you're a West Ham fan because
you really think that's still it?
You may not be alone. So there's a couple of things. Like the video. Okay, don't forget that bit.
Yeah.
But subscribe anyway because look, we will be reconfiguring it at the end of the season.
One might drop in there.
It may be that we could move you up and realise that there was a worse one, or you might.
We won't.
Stay there.
We might, but we definitely won't. We're just being honest, but hope you really enjoyed the video.
Hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And see you on the next one.
Oh, cheers. Lovely talking about that. It was. Oh.